Hey, what's up and welcome. If you're watching this video, congrats. You're about to get a super mini quick masterclass on the customer transformation. And this is so important because this is a business. This is literally the whole business. And if you understand this, you're going to be able to contextualize everything that you're working on, whether it's ads, VSLs, webinars, emails, follow-up, selling, literally anything, all on the paid side to customer support, customer success, reactivating people, getting referrals. This literally explains the entire journey, right? And basically, in a transformation, whatever it is, whether you've got back pain, you're trying to get customers, you don't like the way your car looks, anything like that, you're going through some kind of transformation where you're going from state one, or Hell Island, we like to call it sometimes, to state two, or Heaven Island, the place that they want to be to, the place that they're trying to get to, the ultimate end of their transformation. And basically, the journey is going to be more or less the same regardless of what people do if you're selling services, right? The timeline might be different. If it's like, oh yeah, we want to build a plane. I have no plane. I want to build a plane from scratch. That transformation might take 12 months, 24 months. Like I'm not an aviation expert, but it might take a lot longer than like, hey, I want a massage, like my shoulders are sore, like I'm not feeling good, and then you get a massage, it's an hour, right? Like that transformation's an hour. But basically, this is the entire kind of journey that people go through. And these are roughly the stages and steps that they go through. The individual steps, the like mini details, try not to get too caught up on. This is going to change depending on the industry that you're in, what you're selling. Obviously, that there's a lot of nuance that goes into it, but this is the journey, right? So we have people, right? Let's start with this guy. Maybe this guy has some back pain, right? Like his back is hurting. He's frustrated. He's not enjoying life, and like he's in some kind of problem state, right? So the first stage is him getting attention to a service, whatever that thing might be, some kind of solution. And this is in the top of funnel. So that could be ads, that could be word of mouth, that could be a podcast, it could be Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Doesn't really matter. It's just some way to get their attention. And then from there, that is the top of funnel. And then to move them past that, they have to be curious, they have to be intrigued, their beliefs already have to be shifting. And you can do that down here with capture and nurture mechanisms. So an example of what that might be is like a free lead magnet. They are, getting a checklist from you. They're getting a free training, like a video, whatever that might be. And you're capturing their attention and they are exchanging something of value with you. For example, their email or phone number for something of value from you in return, like a video, a training, a checklist, a bundle, whatever that might be. And then from there, you've got a nurture mechanism in the middle of the funnel. This is where they're starting to get warmed up to you. They're getting to know you. They're getting more familiar with you, your brand, your product, whatever. And you're nurturing them. And that can be with email. That can be with a YouTube channel. That can be just some way that they start to get to know you more and more over time. That can also be your podcast. If they're binging you when they're working out, going for walks, in the car, whatever, right? And then from there, to move them down into a buyer state where they're ready to buy, right? A buyer state. You need something to engage them, some kind of engagement mechanism. That could be an email, that could be a quiz, that could be a form, something that will get their attention, be like, yeah, okay, this sounds like me, I'm ready to move forward. For example, this guy comes in, sees an Instagram ad saying like, hey, do you have back pain? No worries, we have a solution. Download our checklist. They download it, you start to email them, and then eventually you email them, it's like, hey, do you want to solve this today? Right? Do you want to solve this today? And they're like, yeah, that sounds really good. And maybe that's like, then watch this video and we'll explain how. It could be then fill out this application. We might give you our secret formula for back pain removal, whatever. Or it could be book a call, right? That is basically what you are moving them toward. And then the final conversion mechanism is how you get them to pay, right? That could be a sales call. That could be your VSL. There could be some kind of call to action where it's like, hey, now you know that we're the best. All that's left is for you to pay. And then they pay, right? And what happens here, usually most businesses don't pay nearly enough attention to. So if you get familiar with the other side of the funnel, and this whole thing, by the way, you could probably tell this is like a sideways funnel. And this whole thing is called the Bowtie funnel, which some really smart guys at a company called Winning by Design came up with to better reflect the entire customer journey, right? Because a lot of people are just spend a bunch of money on getting customers, but then they stop paying attention after that, and they lose a lot of customers, and those customers never come back because they didn't have a good experience. The Bowtie funnel represents the entire transformation, the entire journey, and helps them move throughout their entire transformation the best way possible, with the best experience possible, and as quickly as possible, right? Because the faster and higher quality it is up here, the better the experience. And we always want to be moving them forward. We always want to be following up. We always want to be moving them to the next step, because that's how they get from state one, whatever that state one is, to state two, right? So this is super, super important. So right after they pay, a lot of people immediately have something called buyer's remorse. That means they're like, oh crap, I just spent a bunch of money. I don't know if I'm going to get the value that I put into this, right? The value back for the money that I put into this. And depending on how expensive it is, like building a plane or, investing in a high ticket program or whatever, this becomes more and more important. Even myself, at one point, I invested $10,000 in a sales training program. And for about 30 minutes after I signed the contract, nothing was really happening. And it gave me space, right? It gave me space to think. And I was like, ooh, that would have been a nice trip. That could have been, and you start listing off all the things that it could have been instead of what you put the money into, until you're sure that you made the right choice, right? So there's something called buyer's remorse, and you can mitigate that by activating the customer and with something called aftercare. Depending on the industry you're in, this might have a different name, but it's basically making sure that that buyer's remorse is not too heavy. So, this guy just paid, he's still got his back pain, he hasn't had the transformation yet. And then what can help, as an example, is basically congratulating them. It's like, hey, Mr. Todd, you just made an incredible, incredible decision. We're going to take really good care of you. And instead of waiting until next week, what we can do is walk through the next steps with you right now, like right this minute. If the industry and offer permits, this could be a great way to do it. If it's not on the phone, if you're not engaging with them, another way could be like a handwritten note, right? Just sending a quick card being like, hey, saying the same thing basically, but just in written form, like, you made a great choice. We're going to take super good care of you. And we just want you to know that, right? Like, we just want you to know that you're really, really good. What that might also mean is showing them some stats, just building up some more awareness around the transformation, whatever those next steps might be. And then basically you just want to make sure that they don't have any regrets, right? Because they might ask for a refund if they regret it too much and they're not hearing anything. They're like, oh, I made the wrong choice. Then you call, and then it's like you have to wrestle them down to move them back through, and it's like so much effort, versus if you just get ahead of it proactively, if you do good work as fast as possible for them, then they're not going to have as many regrets, right? So they don't have any regrets. You've activated them. They're like kind of ready. And then from there, you move into success. You want them to be successful. And usually this isn't going to be like a one and done thing. There's a lot of steps. Like building a plane, the ultimate success might take a long time, right? So there's going to be little baby steps along the way, as an example, where, you might need to give them an outline, give them a design, and like they can look at it, something visual where they feel like they're progressing, right? In a very, very quick sense. Some offers, like getting a back massage, can be very quick, right? Very, very quick in the transformation, where they get the back massage, they feel pain-free for the first time in months, and that's it. That's the transformation, because it's 1 hour. For a new marketing campaign, and we'll cover this one in a second, but it's like there might be a lot of different steps. It's like, cool, who are we talking to? What do we need to send to them? Like what kind of channels, ads, emails, there's so many baby steps, but you can show progress all the way along to make sure that they feel kind of excited. They're getting little milestone actions, and then they can get the result and ultimate success, which is the value or transformation that you're providing them, right? So Todd, or whatever his name, gets the back massage. He goes and feels pain-free for the first time. And then this is a very, very good step over here, where it's like, he's like, I feel pain-free for the first time. I am pumped, right? Todd is absolutely pumped. He has just been like aching for months, maybe even years, and this massage was miraculous. It cured him, And now he's super, super excited. And a really cool thing happens around this time. Like, there's a few things, right? You can ascend them, which means you can potentially sell them more stuff. It's like, hey, I really recommend you buy this cream now, Todd, to make sure that you don't get this back pain again in the future, right? That's what we used. That kind of like numbed it, let us work the muscles, and now you feel better, right? You just have to apply this once a week and you're going to feel something like that, right? Something congruent that makes sense for him to buy, right? Or while he's thinking in his head, it's like, wow, these guys are great. They just did something amazing for me. Then you can either ask for, or if it's good enough, if the experience was good enough, they will go out of their way to refer people. They're happy to stake their reputation because they're like, wow, this was great for me. This was so good. It solved my problem. I know like 3 people that could also use this back pain reliever. I'm going to send them over because I'm so confident they're going to have a great time with you too. And then that reflects back to Todd, right? That's kind of the underlying psychology there. When he refers someone over, that helps him kind of improve his status with his friends, because when it works for them too, then they're going to come back and be like, wow, Todd, that was a great recommendation. Best back massage I've ever had. I'm pain-free too now, right? So Todd would love to refer if something is good enough. And this all happens on the back end. But what's magical about that is that turns into more marketing, right? Because one just turned into 3 people. He just referred. We'll use these guys as an example. He just referred them, and now they go through the entire funnel as well, go through the conversion mechanisms, eventually get their back massage. They feel great. And this starts to turn into a loop where they keep coming back around, multiplying and getting more people to go through it, getting back. You retain those customers, and there's so much money to be had in that space that people don't focus on because it's kind of harder to track. It's more complicated. As you can see with acquisition, it's like you can kind of create these linear paths to an extent, right? With the customer experience, it's like very nuanced. It's like, cool, how did they feel when they walked into your massage place, right? They're like, wow, the smell is great, the aesthetic is great. The person at the desk greeted me. They were super pumped that I was there. All that kind of goes into that customer experience and making sure that they don't have regrets, right? The immediate follow-up, just that whole experience. And it's very hard to quantify that. But when you have that, people come back, they keep on paying, meaning you don't have to spend money to get more customers. It means that they're going to refer people. So not only are you spending less, but now for every customer you get like 2 more, 3 more, whatever, right? This will average out. It's not always going to be like that direct of a multiplier, but I think you can see what I mean at this point by they just keep on coming back. And that's why it's so important to understand the entire transformation versus just acquisition, because it's cool and like the traditional funnel is great, but the Bowtie funnel just gives a much more complete and holistic picture of why every little step matters. And the experience doesn't start here, by the way. Like, it really starts with what they see. Like, depending on the tone and impression you leave in your ad, whether you're more like, hey, look, this is how it's got to go, versus like, hey, we'd love to help you out, but like whatever that tone is, it's going to resonate with different people. It's also going to leave a different impression, right? So it makes such a big difference when you have everything all lined up. It's congruent and the experience is great all the way through. Now, I'll leave Todd over here. I'm going to shrink his head a little bit. And then we've got, let's say, same kind of thing. We'll do it like this. We've got Nancy and we've got Greg the alien here. Like, Greg listens to podcasts as Greg does, but Greg doesn't have any customers, right? So he hears someone on the podcast saying like, hey, there's great ways that you can get customers, whatever. Then he's like, oh, that's interesting. And then on the podcast, the person's like, hey, you can download my guide. So, of course, Greg downloads the guide. He gets nurtured through email and videos and all that kind of stuff. And eventually he moves to booking a call. And then he has a sales call with whoever's on that podcast. They're like, cool, here's how it works. Here's how we're going to do this. What do you say? You can sign right now and pay the deposit, something like that. So he does it. Boom. He comes over. Then it's going to be really, really good for him to just immediately get something, confirmation. It's like they just paid. Maybe there's an automation that goes out that sends an SMS, an email, triggers something else in the process where it sends like a package or like a goodie. It's like something where it's like, wow, just like really, really good experience. The founder calls right away and they're like, hey, Greg the Alien, you just made a great choice by paying us. And then Greg has no regrets. Greg gets his new marketing campaign after some setup and all that kind of good stuff. And then Greg is getting the right attention and customers. So Greg's pumped, and then he thinks these guys are great, and he starts referring too. And then we have Nancy over here, who was checking out someone's LinkedIn. IG. IG for this one. Currently, her car doesn't look cool, but she's like, I want a cool looking car because my clients will like it. She sees something on IG. Someone's like, hey, here's how to get the best looking car. She downloads the cool car guide and eventually is nurtured through videos and emails until she's ready to fill out an application to get her car detailed, right? Car detailed plus window tinting, whatever. And then at the right time, someone's going to call and say like, hey, it's time, you can come into the shop, see how the process works. What do you say? And she's like, cool, that sounds good. She's getting closer to paying. And then at the actual shop, they close her. That's the conversion mechanism. So she pays. And then right away, because it's in person, they're like, hey, you made a great choice. Here's what's going to happen next. They walk her through the process. They show her the people, maybe like introduces to the car detailers in the back of the shop, whatever. And she's like, cool, I know that my car is going to be taken care of and it's going to be a great time. So then over the next couple days or couple weeks or whatever the timeline is there, she gets her window tint and paint coating, and her car looks amazing. So her friends love it. And then Nancy is pumped, absolutely pumped. She's like, these guys are great. And then she starts to refer more people back into the top of the funnel, right? So that's about it. This went longer than I intended. I hope that gives you a pretty clear idea. Like this is a big subject. There's a lot that goes into it, a lot of nuance across the entire funnel, but this is really like the biggest, kind of most zoomed out picture that you're gonna have. People start in a problem state, they're looking for some kind of solution. Whoever gets their attention moves them along, gets them to pay, and if they take care of them and do a really good job, then they're going to be able to keep getting those people back in and probably get some sweet referrals as well. So hope that helps. Hope that gave you some good info. And yeah, let's go out there and crush. All right. Appreciate you. Peace.